your attention, please. Thank you. So hope you are all enjoying the program. What a wonderful cultural traditional showcase of India they have done. It's amazing. For those of you who don't know me, again, I'm Suman Kashyap, and I have been a part of this community for over 40 years. And it's an honor to be celebrating this 25th anniversary with all of you for our temple's Pranprathishta, which is the consecration ceremony, which took place in 1998. Since so many of you have come here so much later, I wanted to show you a brief glimpse of the beginning and the various steps we have taken in making this temple what it is today. So hopefully you will enjoy the history and appreciate what so many people have done to give us this wonderful place of worship. So even though we are calling it a 25-year-old temple, the idea of temple actually came about 40 years ago. There was a very small Indian community who started with a vision of having a temple. Bharatiya Temple of Lansing was actually established as a religious non-profit organization on January 12, 1982. And this was done by our three founding members, Dr. Sudhakar Kulkarni, Mr. Prakash Kapoor, and Shri Kumar Poddar. So, later that year, our Ganpati Murti arrived, and it came at Dr. and Mrs. Kulkarni's house as a gift from late, excuse me please, can you be quiet? So Ganpati Murti arrived finally in the beginning. It was a gift from late Sadhguru Subramanya Swami of Hawaii. He said a very profound statement. He said, do Ganesh Puja every day and Ganesha will build his own temple here. So we still remember that day when the Murti arrived in the home, and for next 10 years, they opened their house for Ganesh Darshan for the community. And at that time, for next 6 years or so, intensive efforts went on from 1983 to 88 with the selection of land and all the things that went. This was actually our land in 1988, where the temple is now. And I don't have a picture of our initial one-room temple that we had, but it is in our souvenir that you probably will see later. Groundbreaking was in 1992, and that followed a series of seeking permits, educating the community at large, educating our neighbors about Hindu culture. We used to go and give talk in churches about Hinduism, and even amongst ourselves, we have a lot of skeptics people who said, why do we need a temple? And it's kind of hard to fathom that we used to have those discussions then. And aggressive fundraising happened, and our temple plan was drawn by the acclaimed architect, Murtaya Stapati. Our murtis arrived in 1992. Some came from North India and some came from South. And we started doing small celebrations. And we invited 6 Shilpis. Shilpis are the artisans who are skilled in building temple craft. They are the ones who build our temple, sanctum, as it stands today. And they were brought here, 6 Shilpis came. They stayed with us for 6 months and built this beautiful sanctum. Finally, in June of 1998, that's when we did the 5-day celebration of the Pranprathishta. The consecration ceremony to invoke God and the murtis according to Agama Shastra. Those were the days, if you were here, you know, no cell phones, no emails, no technology. technology like Zoom meetings. We pulled a wonderful 5-day celebration at that time that was amazing. We had religious programs, cultural programs, several religious talks happened in the temple. We invited a large group of priests and hosted them for 5 days. But even at that time, our temple didn't have the shikharas at the time of Pranprathishta. The shikhara came later that year. So in 1999, following year in June, we did the Shikhar Kumbhabhishekam. And that was a ceremony, that's a ceremony which is done every 12 years to re-energize the temple and the deities. So we did it first then, and then we did it in 2010, and now we are going to do it again tomorrow. So every 12 years, we do Kumbhabhishekam ceremony. The community was by then really energized, and as we grew, these were the shikharas that were brought, and Kumbhabhishekam following year. Some aerial views of the shikhar that was built initially. A lot of community participation, although the community was much smaller at that time. As we grew, as the community grew, the Jain Murtis arrived, and they were established in year 2000. At that time also we were very blessed to have so many swamis and spiritual leaders come and grace our temple. We used to have a lot of discourses at that time. We had discourses on Bhagavatam, Upanishad, Rama and Gita. Hopefully someday we can resume that, along with few other activities like yoga class and Gita class that have been put on hold because of pandemic. So with continued enthusiasm and fundraising for next 6 years, Navagrahas arrived. So this was our Jain leaders during the Mahotsav. Navagrahas arrived, that was again a big occasion. That was almost 6 years later in 2006. After paying all the debt, initial debt off, and response for the growing need for the community, a group was formed for expansion planning. This work was done in 2007 and 2008 with a loan of over $1 million. And with expansion of hall, as we have now, and the dining facilities. And these were the Navagrahas as they came. This was our expansion committee that worked very hard for about a year to do all the planning and watch the construction. One of the addition at that time was an addition of an authentic Havan Kund. In contrast to a portable Havan Kund we used to use before, but we began routinely doing our Arya Samaj Havan, which was started by Mr. and Mrs. Jaglan and still ongoing every third Sunday of the month. He also started the tradition of a peace Havan every January 1st, which is also well attended. 2010 was the 12 years we celebrated Mahakumbhabhishekam the second time. I do not have any pictures from that, but those were the days. We didn't have as many cell phones then. This was one of our oldest traditions, long before even the temple building came, was holding a monthly satsang in people's homes by rotation. This has continued for more than 35 years with mainly efforts of Mrs. Meena Sharma, and it's still being held on first Sunday of the month puja. So thank you, Meena, for continuing this tradition. Bal Vihar was also started by parent volunteers. Initially we had group meetings, we had camps, we had daytime talks, singing, music, and so on. With daily Dvikala Puja, as was initially continued, along with we began doing special abhishekams. They started ongoing, and The list is, I'm not going to go that. You can go on the temple website and see all the daily and weekly pujas we do at the temple. But started doing larger celebrations with a bigger temple. Like this is a picture of the Monday Abhishekam. We started doing Kalyanams. Different Murugan Kalyanam picture here. Srinivas Kalyanam. Hanuman Utsav with Mrs. Kulkarni singing her Chula, which is very classic. We built a small Ram Kutiya, that we like to call it. And Sri Ramanujacharya and Adi Shankaracharya Jayanti was held. Mata Ki Chauki was added a few years later, which is very well attended. We celebrate Diwali, Mata Ki Chauki. Every year in March, we honor all the graduating high school students, and that is also well received, and we get to see all our youngsters going on to different places, and it's a wonderful occasion. Ganesh Utsav is a huge 10-day festival, so hopefully you can be a part of it. This year we had a new performance of Dhol Tasha, which was wonderful. Janmashtami is always fun for little kids. We ask little children to dress up like Radha and Krishna and break piñata and get candies. So that's always well received, well attended. Navratri, 9 days of festivals, not just Garba, but Kali Devi Puja, Ramayana reading, Lalita Sahasranam recitation, and so on, is very actively done in the temple. So larger functions, 10-day Ganesh Utsav, 9-day Navratri, and so on, is also attended. Annakut happens after Diwali. Our temple, so at this time we will be remiss if we do not remember Dr. Raju. He was our guru, our guide, and always helpful in every temple affairs. We really miss him. Our temple became debt-free a couple of years ago. However, the need for renovations, expansion, maintenance, and improvement is endless. Our latest addition, as you all know, was last year when Sri Sai Baba was added, and it's also well-attended puja on every Thursday. This year we are also very proud and very happy, fortunate to be able to complete our temple architecture, which was included in our plan 25 years ago, but we could never finish it due to multiple reasons. So we have been able to, if you were at the temple this morning, must have seen the Dvajastamba Puja. This was, while it was in the progress, I've got a couple pictures of it. And this was when it was ready to be shipped from India, which was a big ordeal, and thanks to Srimati Ramachandran for coordinating all this to come from India and being installed. This is when we were doing the Bhumi Puja for the Dvajastambam grounds. So, I do not have enough words to thank everybody. Thank you. Starting from the visionaries who thought of having this place of worship for all of us today. Volunteers, all the board of trustees in the last 25 years who managed the temple. Now, I was just going to say, if there are any people who have served as board of trustee in the last 25 years, please stand up and be recognized, because that's a lot of work. So can you please stand up? Thank you. Our priests, of course, is their endless work. Devotees are always a pride. At this point, if you are asking, what can I do? Well, first thing is, if you're not, please become a temple member. On your own, advance in your personal journey with the help of our distinguished priests, because they are ready to help you in every step. Attend the pujas, stay updated with temple newsletters. We always have this word, give your 3 T's, time, talent, and treasure. Whatever you have, all the youngsters have so much talent, we need that. Volunteer. Remember, this entire organization runs with the help of volunteers. So you need to volunteer whatever time you can do. And without taking any more time, again, I want you to enjoy the rest of the show. And again, thanks for coming here today.